tonight. I'm going downtown. 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 Hey, ain't nothing you can tell me that I don't already know.
Today is Friday, October 25th, and you are listening to In the Core. My name is OT, and I'm one of your co-hosts for this amazing show. And to my right, as always, is my fellow co-host, Swap. Say what's up, Swap.
What's up, OT? How you doing?
I'm good. You know, I've had better weeks. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got a Fanta Orange.
That's a classic in Nigeria, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I saw you buy it, and I was just like, damn, I should have bought one.
Oh, well, you still have time. You can take a break, and we could head over to the Blue Chip truck.
It's a little far, man. It's raining outside.
That's a good point.
It's cold outside.
Why'd you have a rough week? I had a pretty good week.
I had to sell my tickets to the best concert of the year, or number one concert of the year this week.
The Beatles were back in town?
Well, you could say that. Drake and his crew, OVO, EXO, Toronto, we out here. They were in town, or he was in town. It was his birthday.
So how much did you sell it for? Did you make money? How much money did you make off that?
I did not make money off it because I was desperate and my mind was clouded. But I heard you could have made $150 extra on that.
Although, for those of you who know the situation, $150 was disappeared quite quickly.
Exactly. Right.
Also on the show today, returning from his 1 week absence, and and the views have spoken.
Yes.
Based on our viewership,
we had to beg him to come back. We
were cut by 50%.
It's crazy.
When this man was not here.
It's crazy.
Israel.
I thought I was the attraction on the show.
No. Israel, how are you doing?
Very well. Yourselves? Good to be back. Thank you very much once again.
And that is why they love him.
Where were you last week? That was so important. You couldn't spend Saturday night with us.
Midterms.
Is that season, eh? Is that why you're happy, Swap?
No, I'm just
Did
happy.
You kill a midterm?
The most unwonderful time of the year.
You never want to comment on a midterm until you get the mark back. Let me tell you that.
Exactly. So
okay, Israel, what hat do you have on today? The crowd wants to know.
New York Yankees, yeah.
So
it's that old school Jay-Z.
The old school Jay-Z hat with the swoosh. So not the new era hat, the swoosh on the side. Interesting choice, like figuring how successful the Red Sox have been this week.
Well, you know, I'm not one of those bandwagon fans that only supports a team when they're winning. You know, a real fan supports a team when they win and when they don't. So
true, and that explains your Yankees hat and Blue Jay sweater.
Hey, he's got swooshes on both. So once again, the conflict of interest in the apparel with the Yankees hat and the Blue Jays sweater. Aside from Israel, we're working off of only one mic for the two of them, so they're going to have to share the room. Is in his red sweater,
which he got from Pittsburgh, most likely.
I don't know where I got this one, but I think it's American Eagle. I'm not really a fashion expert. I'm sorry. Unlike OT.
That is the breathing wonder, Gurveer. Gurveer, speak up. People can't hear you.
All right. Yeah. So, for people who didn't hear me, I'm just saying I have no idea where I got this sweater from. So that's all I'm going to say.
You know they really want to hear you say that twice, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is definitely. I mean, we people want to hear us this week. They missed it. A lot of us missed us last week because Israel wasn't on the show, but we're back with a vengeance.
Then could you explain the reason why you have your laptop set up and you seem to be slightly disinterested in this week's podcast?
Oh, what do you mean? Like, this podcast is directly related to what I'm going to do on my laptop.
What's going on the laptop?
Oh, it's my NBA fantasy draft. I thought it was at 6 o'clock, which is the time we were scheduled to meet here, but it turns out I got moved back to 7:30, so I'm going to have to just wait around for a bit.
Wait, why aren't we in your league, man?
I don't know.
Why was I not invited?
That's exactly how I'm feeling. What do you mean? I would win that league.
So you would win that league?
I would win that league.
Dude, do we need to revisit your NFL picks?
Listen, NFL picks and fantasy football are different things. Or fantasy basketball in this case are different things.
Anyways, Gurveer, who are you picking number one overall? Israel, get in there.
I'm going to pick LeBron James just because he can get the blocks, the rebounds, and the points and assists.
OT's wrong. If I was in the league, I would destroy you guys, just like I destroyed my baseball league this year.
Listen,
is that like literal destruction? Because we'll get into it. But
I absolutely smoked them. Basically, May onwards, first, just coasted along.
So as soon as we revisit OT's NFL picks, we'll go back to Israel's World Series picks.
Yo, listen, let's just set it up.
Quoted,
all right, let's set up like my picks are going to take care of everything.
True. What a bad luck term that was.
Well, I never quoted that. I was misquoted. I was taken out of context. I was young and dumb.
2 weeks ago.
It's okay. We make
It's all-
mistakes.
it's
We
all-
make mistakes.
I'm basically making fun of A-Rod, by the way.
Okay, back to Gurveer for a second. Let's talk about your fantasy team. Where does Quincy AC rank on your top 10? Because I have him at 4, right after Carmelo.
I think it's a value pick, but yeah, go on,
I think
Gurveer.
I'm gonna start him in the 3-4 spot. It'll be solid. Get a lot of production. Get a lot.
Yeah,
of
How many?
Get some steals, some rebounds, like, what,
How many
0.1
points do you
per
get
game?
for high fives?
I think that's a bit of a bonus point.
Okay,
so not,
It's a new stat
You're gonna
being
rack up
added
those
into
high
fantasy
fives.
football.
yeah, exactly. So that's why it's a key factor. If you can get a guy who doesn't get gets stats that other guys don't, that can help you so much, right?
What happened this week, OT, that was big news for the mobile community?
Well, BBM came to other platforms this week, so Android and Apple iOS.
You have a BlackBerry, so
I have a BlackBerry.
This
I've
is
always had a
nothing new to
BlackBerry.
you.
My family's a BlackBerry family, and now everyone's trying to get a BlackBerry and add me up. So I don't know, man. I've had to reject a few people already.
Israel, have you downloaded BBM?
What's BBM?
Next, Gurveer, have you downloaded BBM?
Yes, I was coerced by the rest of my family to get on BBM, so I'm on BBM. So OT, you want to link up?
No thanks, but we will share Gurveer's pin on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and ladies, you can add him up
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the release.
or not.
I'm not qualified. My phone doesn't qualify for BBM.
What phone do you have, Swap?
This is the Android 2.3, so one version shy of the 4.0 requirement. I'm sad.
Your phone's sad.
You have a BlackBerry.
And with that, we are. It's Halloween next Thursday.
I know it's Halloween because you told me about 10 minutes ago.
We're supposed to be coming to you live from Wonderland right now, but the weather restricted us from doing that. Actually,
For our international viewers, what is Wonderland?
Wonderland is Canada's greatest theme park, and today or tonight, or I don't even know, man, they have a Halloween themed event called Halloween Hunt. Am I getting this right? Halloween Hunt?
Hunt.
Halloween Hunt.
H-A-U-N-T. Hunt.
As opposed to?
You're saying hunt.
As opposed to?
H-U-N-T is
I'm
hunt.
just kidding. What
not
are you going to
hunting
be
anyone.
dressed as for Halloween this year, Swap?
I'm going to be dressed as LeBron James. So I'm going to shave my head and I put a headband on to make it look like I have a hairline.
Very nice, very nice.
And grow 2 feet.
Or 3.
so
But yeah,
confused.
Israel, what are you going to be dressed as this year besides baseball players?
I'm going to be dressed as myself, thanks.
That's a very scary uniform. Gurveer, what are you going to be?
I don't know. I haven't really decided. Maybe I'll just be a pedestrian like I always am.
You guys are all so cool, man. This year I'm actually going to be dressed up as Batman. And this has no relation to the actual Brampton Batman who's been stalking the streets of Brampton and saving lives all over the place. And we actually have an exclusive interview conducted this week by Gurveer with the Brampton Batman. So Gurveer, would you like to bring us up to speed?
Well, for those of you who don't know, the Brampton Batman has been prowling the streets of Brampton for this past, I think about 6 months or so. And he walks all the way from one side of Brampton all the way to another side, just on foot. So Brampton, for those of you unfamiliar, that'd be walking from Etobicoke to Scarborough every single night.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, like if you're familiar with Brampton, why would you be familiar with the Etobicoke?
Well, okay, how about this? We'll say from...
Give us in time. Time.
Okay, we'll say he walks about 2 hours every night.
There you go.
Okay, now we're going to bring it back. Who walks for 2 hours and can get from Etobicoke to Scarborough?
The Brampton Batman. And that's why he's so great. So he's actually been on Brampton Guardian. He's been on Vice. He's taking the internet by storm. He's trending most nights in Brampton. And I'm going to be dressed as Brampton Batman. I imagine a lot of other people are going to be dressed as Brampton Batman. So kids out there, if you see a Brampton Batman, say hi. It just might be me.
Is this what every kid in Brampton dreams to be when they grow up? Like, other places are dreaming to be like the prime minister or a sports player, a professional hockey player, or, someone really important. But kids in Brampton, they dream to be Batman.
It's up there. It's actually a top 10 dream now.
I understand you so much more, OT, now.
Thank you. And
the reason why you do the things you do.
Kick-Ass 2 came out recently. I didn't see that movie. It's probably a good movie. I don't know. I'll probably watch it on DVD or something or internet. But anyways, so yeah, it's actually a good time to dress up as a superhero and just walk around the streets and do stuff.
Good to hear.
Yes,
Very
sir.
good to
Yes,
hear.
sir.
What else is happening in the world, OT?
Like I said, I had to sell my Drake tickets this week, which made me sad. But you know, I
Happy
did it
birthday,
for
Drake.
Yeah, happy birthday, Drake. I was actually looking at a picture of his cake on Instagram, and it was Toronto with the CN Tower built up high, cars parked, the ACC, Rogers Center. I might be exaggerating, but it was a pretty epic cake. Not the best cake out there, but it's a pretty epic cake.
You missed out, man. You missed out.
Yeah, so I hear. But you know what? He'll be back next year, and I'll have more money next year, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Oh man, but yeah,
What's on the show today?
We are bringing you an amazing lineup of stuff, and it's actually going to be a pretty lengthy show because you know the four of us are back here, and we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk some soccer, we're going to talk some football, we're going to talk some baseball, we're going to talk some NBA basketball, and we're going to give you some blitz material as always. And I do have a challenge actually from Mr. Israel, who thinks he can do a blitz portion of any sport in less than a minute. So we'll do that challenge.
All that and more coming up. You are listening to In the Core.
Hi, I'm standing here with Batman, the Batman of Brampton, who we've just come across patrolling the streets. How are you doing tonight, Batman?
I'm very well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at In the Core, and we just took a quick break there, and we actually discussed some changes that need to be made to the show with regards to our break song. Gurveer, you have done bad.
Anna Nalick, Breathe, 2 a.m. is a good song, guys. Just deal with it, okay? It's a good song.
It's a bad song, and it's going to be reflected, as I mentioned before, in your end-of-the-year bonus.
Yeah, Gurveer. Yeah.
All right.
Back to your computer.
Okay,
For those of you, because we like to be very transparent on this show, Gurveer's bonus is, of course, 27% of his base salary.
Which is surprisingly higher than you might expect.
If you thought that he was paying us, you are wrong.
Yeah, if you thought this was not a lucrative opportunity for him, you were wrong.
You're probably right about that, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now we're going to switch gears, or since it's our first topic, we're actually going to kick off the show with some football talk. So, what's heavy on football this week?
Pigskin preview, what is it, week 8?
Oh, you're consistent.
Is it week 8?
I believe so.
Week 8. Pigskin preview, week 8. Article is out on canon.school.ca, or you can go on our Facebook page.
Very
check
consistent.
Us out
I
there.
like it. I like it. I look up to you.
Once a week, man. Once a week.
Good
Very
for you.
good.
I look
article.
up to you. Man.
We talk a lot on the article, but big news this week is the injury bug, and the injury bug has bit again, and we had talked about it a little bit last week with Randall Cobb going down, James Jones going down, Julio Jones going down, but this week, take that and multiply it by 1,000 because, man, we had some big injuries. Let's start with
Yep.
St. Louis, because this is the big one. Actually, let's get to St. Louis at the end because there's a little side story.
Side story to that. Yep.
Relates to that. Let's start with Chicago and Jay Cutler out for 4 to 6 weeks, guys. Is Chicago going to be able to still make a playoff run without Jay Cutler?
Surprisingly, Josh McCown, who's a journeyman quarterback in the league, actually came in and did some good things. So as long as he's able to stay in sync with Marshall, Jeffrey, and Forte, and I believe Chicago could ride Forte under defense into the playoffs, assuming Jay Cutler can be back at some point during the year, I believe they can still make the playoffs.
Israel?
Well, with Detroit and Green Bay playing well, it's going to be tough. I doubt they're going to make it.
I agree with Israel that division is a pretty tough division. That conference is pretty tough when you think San
Just
Francisco.
like the NFC East, right?
Oh, yeah, NFC East is a beast.
Yeah, I just think Detroit is too inconsistent.
Well, that's fine, but you take San Francisco and slot them in as one wild card, correct? And then you put either Detroit, and then you also have Atlanta, who's starting to come on a little bit, although without any of their receivers, who knows? And then
Harry Washington, Douglas broke out last week.
Even Washington is now
Giants, 1 win.
Congratulations, Gurveer.
Okay, injuries. Stay on topic.
Back to injuries. So we talked about Cutler. Let's go to a season-ending injury. The first of which we're going to talk about is Mr. Brian Cushing. That was a pretty nasty. I believe it was a knee ACL injury.
LCL. I couldn't even watch it. I didn't watch the video.
That's a tough one. He's out for the year. Jermichael Finley, after suffering a massive hit to, it looked like the neck area. He was carried off on a stretcher in the Packers game against the Browns. He was actually in the ICU. And for a short time, we thought that his career might have been over. They're saying that he can resume his NFL career. They're just not sure when. So big injury on the Packers for the Packers tight end over there.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it was pretty bad, and he had spinal, okay, let me not speculate, but he requires surgery if he's even going to have a chance of coming back into the league.
Reggie Wayne. Here was a kind of a, and I watched this live and I saw it happen, and it did not look good to see Reggie Wayne go down. He's out for the year with an ACL injury, or sorry, not. I think it's a torn ACL. It could be a labrum.
Yeah,
not
one
sure.
of those things.
But yeah, he was also. It was hard to see him tear up as he was taken off the field.
Yeah, as you can hear, Swap is still getting emotional over the injury, because Reggie Wayne is one of the good guys in the NFL.
Yeah, and also because Reggie Wayne used to be on my fantasy team, so I have some fond memories from him.
But yeah, we wish Reggie Wayne best wishes from in the court, Reggie Wayne, because I know you listen.
Let's go back to other injuries. Cornerback Leon Hall from the Bengals out for the year.
Ooh.
And another big, although probably not as important as the Cutler injury, another quarterback going out for the year, and that is Sam Bradford of the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, I mean, St. Louis Rams were at best a 500 team, and now with Sam Bradford going down, they're definitely below 500 team. But who knows? Maybe Tavon Austin can finally realize his offensive potential and break out somehow.
Tavon Austin's a receiver.
He's a receiver, running back / offensive weapon. That's a new position.
So without
in the NFL
Sam Bradford, do you think that he's going to...
Yeah, because Bradford might be throwing to certain guys. He might not like Austin, or he doesn't know how to get the ball to Austin. But now the offensive coordinator might, choose to feature Austin in some jet sweeps and running plays and quick screens, because that's how he did his most damage in college.
2 rumored replacements for Sam Bradford. Number 1.
Don't do it.
Straight out of the University of Florida.
Don't do it.
I'm going a different direction. Everyone's beloved former playoff hero from the Denver Broncos,
right?
Timothy Tebow. I'm actually reading Tim Tebow's book right now.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
It was given to me as a Christmas gift maybe 2 years ago, and I just picked it up right now, so sorry about that.
Cool. Tebow's name gets called every time a quarterback goes down. Is he actually a viable option at this point for the St. Louis Rams?
I still believe that he's a quarterback who took a Denver Broncos team and took them to the playoffs and won a playoff game. So how he can run an offense, and most importantly, he can lead a team. So I would discount the hatred towards him a little bit.
Honestly, I'd like to see him back in the league personally.
The second quarterback who's rumored to be considered by the Rams is my ex-favorite quarterback, ex-favorite NFL player, ex-favorite athlete, and ex-favorite human.
Ex-favorite hero, too, as you can tell.
Brett, and I don't know what his last name is, middle name is Favre.
Middle name Favre. So 43-year-old Brett Favre was...
44.
44-year-old Brett Favre was allegedly contacted by the St. Louis Rams after Sam Bradford went down with his injury last weekend, and he declined, to the surprise of some who think Brett Favre's ego and wanting to return to the league at whatever age and being able to do whatever. So he declined.
Somebody tweeted that Brett Favre actually didn't decline, but his message got intercepted before.
Funny. What are your last memories of Brett Favre leaving?
I'm sure you remember it. I was in heartbreak. So it was, I'm going to say 2007, might be 2008.
Oh, we're taking it back here.
I think it was 2008 because it was the year before.
Fridays.
The 2008 NFC Championship game. This was the game where the Giants beat the Cowboys.
Okay.
Right, and I was happy because I thought we were going to go to the Super Bowl because there's no way that we're going to lose to the Giants, Gurveer.
Giants!
I appreciate the what's the word called? The sensitivity from you.
Yeah, hope you didn't hurt Israel on your way to the mic.
That was just one of my finest memories of watching football in high school. I'm sorry.
Gurveer's fired. Anyways, game goes into overtime. Brett Favre has the ball, chance to win the game, send us to the Super Bowl, throws an interception, and that was it.
It's funny because he did that same thing when he was in Minnesota, right? Threw an interception.
Not good.
Yeah. But anyways, Brett Favre declined.
Aaron Rodgers, he's the new guy. He's the guy. He's the man.
Okay, so let's stay on topic. I know you love your Packers, but is this an indication to the rest of the league that there aren't enough competent quarterbacks out there?
Yes. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Pick a quarterback, and Brett Favre, Tim Tebow included, who you would like to see starting for the Rams.
For the Rams, Brandon Weeden.
He's already got a job.
No, he doesn't, because Jason Campbell's the new starting
Yeah,
quarterback
but he
for
didn't get
Cleveland Browns.
released.
He needs to get released.
Okay. Brandon Whedon from OT.
He needs to be given a chance somewhere.
Israel. Anyone?
Well, I guess I'm going to agree with you, and Tebow has had success in the past, and he's young. So
It's not happening.
might as well.
It's not happening.
What do you have to lose? I mean, it's either Jacksonville or St. Louis. I mean,
You're going to sell tickets, that's for sure.
Yo, listen, just tank the season, get, Teddy Bridgewater or Johnny Manziel or whatever, and just start over.
Clowney. That's the guy who they're all looking at.
oh yeah,
Clowney cannot save the Rams. He cannot.
And you
He can't save Jacksonville either.
And you think Manziel can?
He's a quarterback. You build your team around your
Isn't
quarterback.
Clowney a quarterback?
He's a defensive end.
Clowney's
Okay, I
young.
don't know what I was thinking.
Okay, we'll bleep this
Who
out.
is, who is the quarterback that everyone's talking about in college?
Manziel.
No. I know
Johnny
Manziel, but he's
Football.
not going number one.
Teddy Bridgewater?
Would he go number one?
He would go number one.
Okay. Who does he play for?
Louisville.
Oh, Louisville as a team? Okay. I don't know. I always thought of him as a basketball team. As a basketball school. I didn't know.
Amazing, right? You would imagine.
No. What about McCarron?
He's all right.
He runs a pro offense.
McCarron's best comparison would be like Alex Smith. Alex Smith went number one
Who went
overall.
number
Don't get me
one
wrong,
and is doing
but
and is the
he's
quarterbacking
labeled a
the-
game manager.
He's quarterbacking the only undefeated team in the NFL.
He's labeled a game manager. Go check his stats from the last 2 games. He didn't win those games for them.
Okay, so Israel is picking Tebow Gurveer. Who you got?
Well, if we're allowing players to get released and then join the team, then I'm going to say Matt Castle. I mean, he can just hold down the fort for a bit. He won't do great. He won't do bad. Actually, he will be bad, but he won't be that bad.
Okay, so if we're going to allow players if we're going to say that players can get released,
So
I'm going to go
Tom
with
Brady?
Peyton Manning.
Good one.
But no, in all seriousness, I am going to pick, and I think that this guy should get a shot way before Tim Tebow gets a shot, and that's Vince Young. I think Vince Young hasn't been afforded the opportunity that he should have been. He was a good player
He's been tweeting lately.
that means he's on people's radar.
That means he wants to get back. Hey, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah,
No,
I was about to say Jamarcus Russell.
Let's
I
not
was
forget
about
about
to
him.
say that.
Let's OT, stop. Just don't.
Okay. All right. Let's switch gears. So the NFL is in London this week. Swap. Who's playing?
NFL is in London for their second game in London of the year.
They typically only do one game.
They typically only do one. They're going to do 2 this year and 3 next
It's
year.
all about the money.
The first game was an amazing showdown between not 2 great teams, but the game itself was really good. Pittsburgh and Minnesota. This is more likely to be a lopsided affair with OT's beloved 49ers against the always beloved Super Bowl contending Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, they gave Denver a game. What was it, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, where they lost by 20 points.
Oh, they didn't. They lost like 28-19 or 19.
28-14, 28. Can you check the score, Gurveer?
It wasn't bad. I'm telling you.
We're about to find out, OT. But in the meantime, the question around the day is the NFL going to expand to London? And if not, who do you think they should expand to next?
I don't think there's. So we're talking international franchises, right?
Not necessarily. Just where should they expand next?
Oh, a city? Definitely LA.
You think LA?
I would love LA.
Okay, why LA?
Just because it's a rich sporting environment.
But do you think that there's a football crowd in LA?
Yes.
I'm under the impression that if a football team should have been in if LA could support a football team, they would have one by now.
Hey, I mean, I don't know why they don't have one, personally. They might have had one in the past. I don't know. Gurveer might need to check that for me.
Gurveer with breaking news right now. Let's interrupt. What's up, Gurveer?
Oh, so Denver beat Jacksonville 35-19, so by 16.
Exactly, OT.
It's a 2-score game.
Okay, yeah, 2 scores, like at the broadest of definitions. Anyways, LA is one option. Israel. What's a city who you would like to see the NFL expand to next?
I guess I agree with LA. I mean, it's a good city. It makes sense.
Okay, Gurveer, can we get a bit more creative?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little more aggressive in my pick. I'm going to say Munich. I'm going to say Munich because if anybody remembers NFL Europe, right?
No one does because no one watched.
Because it was
All
a
right,
fail.
nobody watched, right?
Hey,
Okay.
they did some
All
good
right.
things for Kurt Warner.
Okay, the point
Kurt
is...
Warner, right?
Yeah. All right, but the point is, I'm saying NFL Europe, they had like 5 teams in Germany by then, and they were each getting about 20, 30,000 a game, right? So if you can centralize that for a professional franchise, and hopefully build the popularity in time to build that franchise, I think Munich could be a potential target. I mean, they'll probably do London first, but yeah, I'm saying Munich.
Munich, eh? So, what about your thoughts on this? And this is on your Munich point. Do you think that the NFL would be able to sustain a franchise in a non-English speaking city/country?
I think they would be because they already have.
I know where this is coming from. I know why Gurveer is picking Munich.
Oh,
He's
okay.
trying to suck up to those German people who banned us for the last 4 episodes.
Don't ban us.
No, you love football there, guys. I know it. I know the media doesn't give you your due, but you do, okay?
And you love us. You love our topics.
So Israel picked LA, but OT wants to change his pick. OT, what do you want to change your pick to?
Typical of me to change my picks. I actually believe the NFL needs to be in Toronto. And not because I live here, just because I live here.
That didn't make too much sense.
NFL in Toronto. Hey, the Raptors make a lot of money, I think.
Check out this pick. And it's a stretch. It's kind of random. But I'm going to say that there should be a franchise in Birmingham, Alabama.
It's not a bad choice.
Think about this. Think about this for a second. Okay, so you have Alabama, University of Alabama. You have Auburn, right? Ole Miss, all these Mississippi universities. The guys in Tennessee who don't really care about the Titans because they're so far away in Nashville. Yeah, that huge... And Alabama fills 100,000 people every week, right?
Yep.
There's no question about it. Birmingham's the biggest city in Alabama, I think. Someone needs to check that for me. And the closest team is Atlanta or the Saints. So people are either cheering for Atlanta or the Saints, and I don't think that anybody in Alabama really cares that much about either of those two teams.
But does anybody in Alabama care about the NFL?
I think they would. Especially if, like, a lot of your...
It's like Jacksonville, though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is if you take Jacksonville and you move them to Alabama...
Yeah, but that's like going from...
When you're in Jacksonville, right? You're in Jacksonville, Florida on a Sunday.
Right.
What are you going to do? You're going to the beach.
Right.
When you're in Alabama, central Alabama, on a Sunday, after you go to church,
nothing?
where are you going? You're going to go watch football, because you watch football on Saturday, so you're probably going to go watch football on Sunday.
I guess. Or you could do homework since you watch football on Saturday.
That's true. Let's switch the conversation now. So we talked about expansion. What team is most likely to be either moved or disfranchised? Gurveer.
Okay.
I think we're my consensus here.
I'm going to say San Diego because... Oh, well, okay, sorry for offending people. I'm going to say San Diego because they're going to need a new stadium eventually.
You don't like Qualcomm?
All opinions on this show
it's about a
who see them.
46-year-old stadium, right? So if the city and the
Lambeau is like 100 years old. Fenway is 100 years old. Soldier Field's 100 years old.
Yeah, but all those stadiums got renovations. So it's going to cost them much to renovate Qualcomm Stadium to bring it up to the standards they want to, as it is to build a new stadium. So they're going to need money, and if they don't get that money, they're probably going to move.
Okay, let's save this to a one-word answer, Swap.
No, I like the explanation. You go, OT.
I'd say Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Why?
And this is because of a recent outbreak of disease in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you think they're not going to disintoxicate?
They need to fire the coach and move the team and move the franchise.
Okay.
And they suck too.
So, OT with the medical reasons. Israel, any picks?
Jacksonville.
And why Jacksonville?
It's just not a good place for a professional sports team. At least not a top flight one.
Tebow. Yo, I'm telling you, Tebow could save that franchise.
I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. And I'm going to take it for a different reason.
Dude, we get a game every year.
But here's the thing. I think
Don't do it.
No, I think Buffalo is not that bad of a place to have a franchise. But did Ralph Wilson die?
It's like 94 or something.
Okay,
It's
so he's
ridiculously
getting close
old.
to the end of his life. And when he dies, there's no one, his sons, they don't want the team, blah, blah, blah. That franchise is going to move to Toronto. I have no question in my mind that Rodgers and MLSE are going to make a bid for it.
Okay. So what? Okay, let's not. Okay, never mind.
OT stumbling on his words. Next topic.
Game of the week recaps.
Okay, so last week, Gurveer, let's get some updates on this. I want to know how far I'm winning.
You don't have to say mine.
All right. So we'll just do a quick recap of last week's games. All right. So first game we had was Dallas and Philadelphia. Me and Swap both picked Dallas. Israel being absent last week, and OT picked Philadelphia.
So obviously.
Yeah. So that means.
The result of the game was.
Oh, so obviously the result of the game was that Dallas win.
Exactly.
All
Good
right.
job, OT.
Thank you. You know.
All right. And the next game was the actual game of the week, Denver versus Indianapolis, and we all picked Denver.
What?
all wrong.
Did you get my... Oh, my bad. I thought Manning was still playing for Court. No, wait. That doesn't even make sense. Anyways.
You are just falling. Your stock is falling, man. You
I'm
probably
hungry.
You probably
Feed
wanna
me.
Sell.
Do you know they don't feed me on this show? Anyways.
Another fat joke coming.
Whoa. I thought we were past that already.
Yeah, man. Short.
Ooh.
Let's keep it short. Anyways.
Okay, anyway. All right, so these are the standings.
Feeling kind of bloated in here now, eh?
All right, so we got Swap still holding on to first at 7-6. Israel not moving.
Finally up high. So up high.
I'm waiting for OT to say something.
Okay. Israel not moving because he didn't make any picks last week because of
So you're going to have to calculate the percentages.
A miscalculation in
I think
communication.
I will, but it's pretty clear what the standings are. So Israel's at 5-5. I'm at 6-7. And then we have OT in fourth place at 3 wins and 10 losses.
How's Gurveer at 6-7 and I'm 3-10?
So wait, what was Israel at?
5-5.
Okay, so he's 500. So I'm 7-6. You're under 500.
Yeah.
And OT, one more time.
3-10.
So out of the whole season, you've gotten 3 games right.
How many 3-10 teams have made the playoffs? 0. I'll be the first.
There are no playoffs here in the core.
You know what I mean.
Anyways, 3-10. How can OT improve his record this week?
Well, if he picks these 2 games correctly at the very least. First up, we have Dolphins versus Patriots.
Okay, so OT, you're going to go first.
Oh, you won't do me like that,
Yeah,
eh?
'cause we all want to pick the opposite of what you're picking.
So Dolphins at the Patriots or Patriots at Dolphins?
Like it matters.
Like it matters.
Dolphins at the Patriots. They're playing in Foxborough.
I am definitely going for New England, looking for them to bounce back after a surprising loss to the Jets. I think they were still hungover from that win over New Orleans. But yeah, I'm definitely voting Brady and Gronkowski and the rest of the gang to come back with a victory. Gronkowski is back doing his thing, so I expect a big game from him. I'm going to Patriots by 10.
Gurveer?
Yeah, I'm expecting an even bigger game from Gronkowski. I mean, the Dolphins defense is not that great, and that's why Gronkowski finally wants to go off, and Tom Brady will find some other options some other places, and I'm saying the Patriots take it by 21.
I don't know what the score was that I put down in the Big Game preview, but what are you pointing at? Oh, okay. Sorry, Oti was distracting me with his random pointing towards the router at the top of the room here. But I don't think that. I think that the Jets underestimated what role Gronkowski was going to play in the New England offense. And
I think we did as well.
I think we did as well. So I'm expecting that Miami's going to come prepared. They're going to watch the film. They're going to take away that over the middle pass. And
same way they did for Jimmy Graham?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. New England's still going to win because Miami sucks.
Okay.
And Miami lost to Buffalo. So New England's still going to win. It's just that I don't think that Gurveer's prediction is as accurate as it could be. I'm taking New England to win by 14. Israel.
New England by 14.
Must be nice to pick after Swap, huh?
Sticking with the leader. So me and Israel, he's not going to be taking the lead anytime soon.
Well, we all chose the same team. So let's hope this
That
is
is true.
different choice on the second game of the week, which is Gurveer is providing it shortly.
Oh, yes. I apologize.
The show is just turning into a disaster now.
Oh, no. This show's perfect right now. What are you talking about? Just like my record is going to be
For
this.
those of you who made it this far, we apologize.
Anyway, so the next game of the week, we have Eagles versus Cowboys.
Okay, wait a minute. That happened already.
Oh, wait. That's my mistake.
On game, on spot. This is why we pay him the big bucks.
Yeah, totally. Oh,
Retroactive game of the week, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Cowboys, Lions.
Are you still?
it was Cowboys. Yeah, it's Cowboys versus Lions. Yeah,
I got to bring up something on the game last week. The Eagles, with their high-flying, high-powered Chip Kelly offense, scored a grand total of 3 points. OT.
Hey, listen, everyone's been shut out once. All right.
Nick Foles got demoted because of that game.
Like I said, everyone's been shut out once. Let's not discuss this.
Dallas at Detroit. OT, you're first.
Dallas at Detroit. I'm going to go with I don't even know if I should go with Des Bryant or sorry. Did I say Des Bryant? I mean Calvin Johnson, clone or Calvin Johnson. I'm gonna go with Dallas in this game. Terrence Williams is really coming on. Joseph Randle, rookie, doing his thing right now, and Tony Romo playing at a high level. Hopefully the defense can step up. I think DeMarcus Ware might still be out this week, but hopefully they can have some other guys step up. So I'm going with Dallas by 3.
Israel.
Must be nice not picking before swap.
I'll take the Cowboys. I'll take them by 7.
Israel with the succinct picks and without, I don't know. Gurveer, go.
Yeah, I'm hoping for another big week from Stafford, and hoping means that I think is going to happen. So I'm going to pick the Lions, but
Ooh.
yeah, so I'm going to pick the Lions by 7. Lions by 7.
Lions by 7. And
Actually, can I change my pick?
okay, so we've gotten a pick change after hearing Gurveer's pick. Israel, you're changing your pick too.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take Lions by 3. I think Romo's going to throw another fourth quarter interception.
Wow, big statement there.
You didn't have to do that, man. That's a low blow.
Okay, back to the pick at hand. So Dallas at Detroit.
Did you just open your picks?
I was just opening the picks just to make sure that I didn't. So last week, I actually picked the Colts by 3 in my pigskin preview article and came on this show and picked the Broncos.
All that matters is what you said on the mic.
And I just blew that one. So this week I'm making sure that I'm consistent. I did pick the Patriots to win in the first game, and I am going to take the Cowboys by 7. I'm taking the risky pick by going with OT, but OT we're going to ride off into the sunset at 2-0 this week.
Yeah.
Tony Romo looks good. DeMarco Murray might be back. Des Bryant's going to make a statement, and Detroit's not that good. So
Yo, Murray might be back. I ain't seen my fantasy team.
I know, me too.
Okay, I think that about does.
That
Oh, wait.
what?
We have a Washington Redskins name change update.
So let's talk. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about it right now.
No. Go on, I'm just
We'll
kidding.
talk a little bit about it right now because I know what you want to play. You want to play the game. But then we should have a serious conversation next week or the week after regarding this issue because I think it's a big issue.
It is. I mean, it's an underlying big issue.
Yes. And it's not just in the NFL.
Right. I mean, there are other franchises in different
But what are we
sports.
talking about here, OT?
We're talking about the names and the cultural, like the team names and the cultural meanings or the meanings behind some of the names. I mean, when you say the Washington Redskins, for example, I mean, the average fan might not give it much thought, but I don't know, the Redskins give it some thought. So help me out here. I'm struggling.
No, it's just a matter of what the Redskins mean and the reference to the fact of Native, like the Native American peoples, and is Redskins an appropriate name? And that's the whole controversy surrounding that name, and the reason why people might even think of changing the Redskins name. OT, what is Redskins owner Dan Snyder thinking of changing it to?
You know, he's thrown out a couple of things, the OTs, the swaps, but actually one of the ones that's been reported in the media lately is the Bravehearts.
The Bravehearts. So let's play a game which OT invented way back when we're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans.
Pelicans.
And it's called?
It's called Name a Franchise, brought to you by In the Core.
Very excited there.
Trademark.
Name a franchise.
Name a franchise.
The way it works is, how does it work?
Basically, we get to take a sports team, we remove their nickname or whatever, and we replace it with a name we would like them to have. So, we're going to do that with Washington Blanks, and Gurveer is going to go first. So, Gurveer, you are general manager.
Now,
You've
before
been
we
appointed.
begin,
Oh.
Capitals, Nationals, and Wizards are already taken.
Yeah, but the Bullets aren't, right?
Ooh.
No, I'm not picking the Washington Bullets.
That was such a bad name for Washington.
How did that fly?
I don't know how. That's like, no, I'm not going to even go there. Yeah.
Okay. So, Gurveer, you've been appointed GM of the Washington Blanks. Name the franchise.
It's not a bad name, the Washington Blanks.
Yeah, I think I just probably say something like Washington Monuments because, you know, the
Washington Monument.
Yeah, you know, the monument is what people see when they get
Yeah,
to the
because
city.
we're so scared of things that don't move.
It's okay.
The running game would be
all right, how about
horrible.
this? The Washington Obelisk because the monument is an obelisk.
Okay, Gurveer, get away from the mic.
Oh,
Far away.
All right, well,
It's your draft time. Go draft some players. Israel.
The Washington Redskins. I don't see why there needs to be a name change. I mean, this is totally ridiculous.
See, this is why the discussion needs to happen.
5 years ago, come on.
Okay, so we'll set up that discussion for you guys soon, and we'll bring together a good
panel
business
of
case
individuals.
and a panel of individuals to discuss this.
Who have no vested interest or even care about football.
Swap.
I'm trying to think about this one. I hate the name that Gurveer mentioned.
I don't even know what Gurveer mentioned.
Yeah, I hate everything Gurveer mentions.
You don't like the Giants?
You still get paid, Gurveer.
Yeah, double your salary. OT. So you mentioned the Bravehearts as the new name. I don't really like that name. Like, it's fine, but it has nothing really to do with Washington. I'm trying to think.
I like the Hitmen. Washington Hitmen.
Isn't that just as bad as the Bullets?
I guess.
Maybe.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and it makes more sense for Calgary too. You know.
Oh man.
How do you name sports franchises?
Don't say it on there because that was bad.
Yeah. If any of our listeners want to play name a franchise, just tweet
People
at us.
died.
Right on our Facebook page.
Wait, I couldn't hear you. Wait, say it in the mic. We'll bleep it out.
The Washington O Bummers.
Oh, I heard something totally different.
It's a reference to our America's not so wonderful president.
Sorry.
Wow. No comment. Oh man. Washington Beards. I don't know.
Washington tax collectors.
Pick something so we can move on to what.
I don't know, man. Let's go. I had with the Washington
tax
blanks.
Collector. And this
I
is
like
why
the Washington blanks. I never thought about this. You never told me we were playing this game.
The Washington Potomac.
Well, that's not bad.
Potomac River?
Yeah. Who's the...
A what river?
No, what did they call Georgetown?
Oh.
Hoyas.
Yeah.
Or they call them the Hoyas.
What the hell's a Hoyer?
Hoyas.
Is that what they call them?
Nah.
Washington De La Hoya?
It's a Hoyer.
Well,
okay, fine.
It's even on the website though.
So I got it. Who came after Washington? Jefferson?
No.
Who
It
came
was
after Washington?
John Adams.
Washington Jeffersons sound better.
Okay.
The Washington Jeffersons.
Okay, and on that note, we end football for this week.
Sorry, somebody said hi to us, and I don't know who he was.
We are popular. We are popular.
Okay.
We're humble, though.
Coming up after the break, and it's been a long show, but we're still going. Baseball talk, the World Series, and a special memory for most of you who lived in Toronto, Canada, or Florida, or Destin, Florida, I guess. You're watching In the Core. Stay tuned.
Hi-ho, do you know the names of the U.S. residents who then became the presidents and got a view from the White House loo of Pennsylvania Avenue? George Washington was the first you see. He once cut down a cherry tree. President number 2 would be John Adams, and then number 3. Tom Jefferson stayed up to write the Declaration late at night. So he and his wife had a great big fight, and she made him sleep on the couch all night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at In the Core, and I just have to give a quick shout out to my capstone group because they just handed in our assignment and they wanted me to give them a shout out.
Wow, was that okay?
Shameless plug.
That's sad. FYI, the rest of the class finished their capstone project about.
Yeah. As long as you get it done. All right. So we are actually going to switch gears and move on to some MLB talk because I hear we're in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs. So
man, you've been out of it. We're not just deep into the playoffs.
Midterm
we are
season,
in the World Series.
Midterm season. What's your name? Israel, kick us off.
Okay, this week marked the start of the World Series, the 109th World Series, and it is a matchup that has been featured prominently in World Series history. The Boston Red Sox versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Both teams have had strong seasons, winning their divisions and going on to do excellent things in the postseason. Pitching has been at a premium. It's been brilliant. And the hitting hasn't been bad. Boston has been carried by one David Ortiz, alias Big Papi. And he had a monstrous postseason run to get the Red Sox to the World Series. Now, Game 1 started a little less than ideally for the Cardinals, to say the least. A blown call by Dana DeMuth, 2 errors from Pete Kozma, and ultimately an 8-1 Red Sox win. But the Cardinals bounced back. Michael Wacha, the rookie sensation, did not get the win. He did not factor into the decision, but the Cardinals came back off Craig Breslow and won 4-2. And Game 3 goes tomorrow night in St. Louis at Busch Stadium.
This is a rematch of 2008?
No, 2004. 2004, which saw the Red Sox sweep the Cardinals. But it's also a rematch of 1967, which saw the Cardinals the Cardinals win in 7. And 1946 also saw the Cardinals win in 7.
When was the classic Yankee? Oh, so that was the year when they beat the Yankees. That was the Yankees.
9, yes.
Yeah, the 7 days in October.
That was the subject of the Mariano Rivera tribute in Boston.
Okay, so now, step a few years forward, who did they play in their second World Series, which was in 2007?
The Red Sox in 2007 played and swept the Colorado Rockies.
Okay, now that makes sense. So, the Red Sox do pretty good. So this is the first game the Red Sox have lost in World Series action for a while.
That is correct. They have been riding a 9-game World Series winning streak up to last night.
Damn. What do you think, OT?
Yeah, go Red Sox. Yeah.
Obviously, OT showing his baseball knowledge. So the obviously Ortiz is the clear man who's carrying that Red Sox offense. You know, they have Pedroia and they have Ellsbury who can run. But on the pitching side, can they match up rotation-wise against what the St. Louis Cardinals can bring to the table?
I think the Red Sox have quietly had one of the best rotations in baseball. I mean, Clay Buchholz got off to a 10-0 start before he went on the DL. John Lester was a bit iffy at the beginning of the year, but he's turned it around, and he's once again become one of the league's top left-handers. Acquiring Jake Peavy has turned out to be good, and John Lackey, for once, has lived up to the hype when he signed that big contract, and it certainly takes a big monkey off his back.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that we need to say is, although as a Blue Jays fan I hate to say this, John Farrell did a pretty good job turning his team around, but that big trade where they got rid of a lot of cap room, trading away Gonzales, Crawford, and Beckett to the Dodgers, which was pretty similar to the deal that Marlins traded to the Blue Jays. It looks like the Red Sox came out with the better option.
It's too early to say whether or not the Red Sox won the trade. So far, both teams have benefited. I mean, the Dodgers, they made it to the postseason for the first time in a number of years. So to say that they lost badly like the Jays did would be false. But the Red Sox have benefited from the trade. They have been able to piece together a lineup that is not dependent on superstars other than Ortiz, but a lineup where everybody contributes in some way. You have contact hitters like Pedroia. You have fast players like Ellsbury. You've got Napoli. You've got Gomes. Big Papi hitting the homers.
The Red Sox go on to win their third World Series in what I'm going to estimate are 10 years. Do you think that he's a Hall of Famer? Steroids and all. Gurveer, can you step in while Israel recovers from a little cough attack?
All right, yeah. I think he's still a Hall of Famer.
Regardless?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of missed the first part of this conversation because my pick just came up.
Who'd you pick, Gurveer?
I took a risk. I just picked Anthony Davis. Anyway, back to baseball. Yeah, sorry.
Do you think that David Ortiz is a Hall of Famer if they don't win the World Series?
Yeah, I think definitely he's a Hall of Famer.
Israel, get back in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's probably a Veterans Committee guy. Because when they did the litmus test for DHs, i.e. Edgar Martinez, he wasn't inducted. But there seemed to be some interest. And the Hall of Fame committees, that is the writers that elect Hall of Famers, tend to be divided on the issue. Some of them, the purists in particular, tend to oppose designated hitters in the Hall of Fame. Yet they induct guys like Harmon Killebrew, who was great a home run hitter as he was. He wasn't a very good fielder. So, it depends on what kind of mentality the voters have. So, and that'll likely change over time. So I think he's a Veterans Committee Hall of Famer, not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Fair enough. What about let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit. They suffered a massive loss in losing Albert Pujols a few seasons ago. They've rebounded quite nicely, putting together a lineup of their own centered around Carlos Beltran on the offensive side.
Well, I wouldn't say it's centered around Beltran or anybody else. This is the best all-around lineup in the National League. Alan Craig was out for the first 2 rounds, and the Cardinals still managed to pull it off. And, they have a lot of other tools to work with. Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, Beltran, obviously, Holiday. This team has a lot to ride on. So, I mean, the thing with them, the reason why they win ball games and have been doing so for a number of years now is because they have a great all-around lineup, and they don't just depend on that one big player.
Series tied 1-1. Who are you picking to take this and in how many games?
St. Louis in 7. I think it's going to look more like the 1967 or 1946 World Series than 2004.
Is that just your inner Boston hatred speaking, or?
No.
Fair enough. Let's move on to something that will put a smile on anyone who is older than OT and lived in Toronto for their whole life.
Hey, listen, I was born at the time, right?
Yeah, but I don't think you weren't here, and I don't think you remember.
Yeah, baseball is not a big sport back home.
People we're talking about. Guys, 2 days ago was at least 2 days ago in my books, but probably Wednesday for those of you who are listening to this after today. The Toronto Blue Jays capped off their second of 2 World Series championships in as many years, defeating the Philadelphia Phillies with a walk-off home run by Joseph Carter. You now know Joe Carter for the man who does the glucosamine commercials.
Okay. It's called glucosamine conjoined.
But many of us remember back in the day of this guy being the face of Toronto sports and the hero of not only Toronto sports but baseball in general. He was never a superstar per se, and I don't think he'll ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame, but this guy will always be in our hearts. Guys, where were you when Joe Carter hit this home run? OT.
I was probably playing soccer or football, which is what we do in Nigeria.
So it was roughly 11 o'clock at night in Eastern time, so I'm guessing it's like 5, or maybe I guess you'd be 5 in the morning.
So I was probably sleeping. Or crying.
Playing soccer.
Because that's what 2-year-olds do. They cry.
You weren't 2-year-old in 1993, I believe.
Okay, that's what 1-year-olds do. They cry. And they learn how to talk. Joe Carter.
Israel, hopefully we can get a better response out of you.
Don't remember. Somewhere in Quebec City. Maybe somewhere in Rue
Am I the only
Torontonian,
Toronto-born individual on the panel?
Well, I was born in Etobicoke General Hospital, but I lived my entire life in Brampton. I mean, parents just drove over to Etobicoke.
Okay, but that's irrelevant. The point is...
Oh, yeah. So, you're talking about, actually in this entire...
Where were you when Joe Carter hit his home run?
I believe I was on Bramley Road in my house and just probably doing something like Huggies, or eating Pampers.
Okay, this is a disaster for those in an attempt to make a tribute to Joe Carter. I was forcefully awoken by my mother, who was an avid Blue Jays fan. Still is, I wouldn't say as much today, but I was forced to watch Joe Carter hit that home run. I don't remember it, but I will never regret that decision. We are going to we're going to enter this break with some classic audio from the historic Tom Cheek. Guys, you're watching In the Core.
2 balls and 2 strikes on it. Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a belt. Left field. Way back. Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Amazing segment there, Swap. We're back in the core, in case you guys didn't notice. But yeah, we're going to switch gears once again, and this time we're actually going to talk some hockey.
Yes, and I know OT hates this segment, but we have to talk hockey because we are in Canada, and this is our national sport. It's actually lacrosse, but it's hockey in most people's
We need to
minds.
talk lacrosse soon, huh?
Toronto Rock, they might be going for the championship. I don't even know how their season's going. But, hey, we do need to mention one shout-out for a Canadian team in Toronto, the Toronto Argonauts, who, Gurveer, check if they won last night, because if they did, they would have clinched.
I can confirm they won last night. I got the update from my phone. So, the Toronto Argonauts defeated the winner Blue Bombers.
So we're looking good for a second consecutive Grey Cup. This is something big. Maybe we need to go and broadcast live from the
Regina.
Okay, I'll make some calls, Swap. I'll make some
Make
calls.
it happen, OT. Anyways, in the NHL, Leafs are looking good. They're playing tonight. Gurveer, can we get a quick score update while we talk? But David Clarkson coming back, so it'll be exciting to see that. Morgan Riley is actually staying with the Leafs, so that's a surprise for a kid that young, but he's playing great and looking good on the defense. First topic of the day, Brodeur. He has conceded his starting role. Corey Schneider, not officially, but for all intents and purposes, will be the starter. He played against the Vancouver Canucks yesterday, and Brodeur had this to say. Not in his exact words, but he likes to play. That's why he plays hockey. He doesn't want to be on the bench, but he'd rather be on the bench at 41 as opposed to on 27. Obviously, referring to the fact that Corey Schneider has been on the bench for quite a while. Anyone with any comments on the Brodeur situation? You have a legend who will be sitting on the bench in his last season.
We brought this up a few weeks ago. It wasn't too hard to see this coming eventually. I mean, Schneider's been in the conversations for a starting job for years now, so it's not surprising that he's finally starting. So, and Brodeur had to eventually slip into backup status at some point in his career.
OT, what's next in hockey?
In hockey, we're going to talk about what's his name? How do I say this name? Alfredsson.
Daniel Alfredsson. Okay, so
Alfredsson.
Nobody here is a Sens fan, and if they were, they'd be fired immediately. But for those of you who are Senators fans, please leave Toronto because we don't want you here. But you probably were upset a few months ago when you heard that your beloved player, captain, franchisee, leader in points, everything, future Hall of Famer, left, chose not to come back in free agency, and instead went to your division rival, the Detroit Red Wings. Must suck, eh? I gave you a minute there to cry. But fortunately for you guys, you faced the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit, where you demolished Alfredsson. Bobby Ryan had, I think, 2 goals. It was a bittersweet game, obviously, for the Ottawa Senators fans, but it's just a preview of what's going to come when Detroit travels to Ottawa for that first game at, I believe they call it the Canadian Tire Center now. Guys, what do you think? Alfredsson, what are you going to remember him most by?
I think I'm just going to remember that everything about that battle in Ontario. He was a Swedish captain of the Senators, and then Matt Sundin was the Swedish captain of Toronto, obviously. So it was just a great dynamic to play off of.
What is with these Swedish people and leaving their teams for so many years and going to some other random team? Matt Sundin, of course, did it with the Vancouver Canucks, leaving Toronto after so many great years. I'm sure that Ottawa will honor Daniel Alfredsson after he retires. But aside from that, the hockey stories look good. The Maple Leafs, once again, go Leafs go. Do we have an update on that score, Gurveer?
Yes, to be sure. Yeah, so it's end of the first period. Columbus is up 1-0.
Wow, not good. Sergei Bobrovsky.
Bringing you live scores on the show, even though you'll only hear it.
That's it for the hockey talk.
Ovechkin?
Ovechkin. Oh, yeah, we forgot about Ovechkin.
Yeah, man, Ovechkin.
He scored his 10th goal to lead the league. Thank God I have him on my fantasy team. But the question
You have a hockey fantasy team?
Yeah.
You're
have a
dedicated.
basketball fantasy team.
I know. I'm just saying you're
So
dedicated.
then, why are you hating?
Are
you feeling waves?
Ask the question, bro.
Are you feeling
why are you
waves
catching
about-
feelings, bro?
So I have a Champions League fantasy team.
That's weird, man.
That's specific. But yeah, I used to have one of those. Back to the topic, Ovechkin.
So the question is, now he was really hot last season too at the end of last season, but is this really for the Caps or is this just him gearing up for Sochi in 2014?
I think it's just both. I mean, the Capitals managed to somehow find their way into the postseason last year, and obviously Washington fans at this point expect no less. He's obviously a really talented player. I think he's going to make the Russian team whether he scores at a goal a game or not. But, I mean, it's just Ovechkin being Ovechkin when he's at his best.
Like that, Ovechkin being Ovechkin. Quoting, or derived from the old Manny being Manny.
Hey, I say swap being swap at least twice a week, so I get where you're coming from, Israel.
Ways, man. OT, Israel, it's time for you to wow the audiences again. We were all wowed by your amazing World Cup preview qualifier
yes, sir.
showdown conversation. Now we're going to talk some Champions League. Guys, the mic and floor is yours.
Yes, so we're actually going to kick this show off with some World Cup talk first. Last time we brought to you this World Cup segment. We gave you a preview of some of the teams who had qualified and told you some of the teams who are on the cusp of qualifying, and Israel has an update for us on some of those teams who have finally made it into the World Cup in Brazil next year. Israel.
Okay, so if you are a supporter of the following teams, you may rejoice. England, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Spain, Ecuador, Chile, and also teams... Oh, Honduras also.
Honduras.
And teams that are going to be disputing playoffs. Mexico and New Zealand. Who would have thought? Everybody thought Mexico was going to qualify directly, and it looks like that's not going to be the case.
Oh, good for New Zealand. Sorry, I was going to say New England. Good for New Zealand. So they actually have a chance, but I'm going for Mexico in that one.
Well, I think I'm going to take New Zealand.
Wow.
I don't think Mexico's got what it takes.
Wow. Interesting choice.
They honestly don't deserve to be in the World Cup, just like the French in 2010.
Right. Okay, go on.
And Jordan versus Uruguay.
I think there's a clear winner in that particular case. I need to get my friend Marwan to watch that game with, actually.
Yeah, so do I. That shouldn't be too bad for Uruguay, but the thing with the Jordanians is they've always been able to pull upsets in this campaign. They have a victory over Japan already.
Oh.
And clearly they can handle pressure. A 9-8 penalty shootout with Uzbekistan to make it.
Wow, very nice. And they're underdogs coming in, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
they're heavy underdogs.
They've already exceeded expectations, so at this point they're just playing with no regard.
Yes.
Okay.
Another team playing with really nothing to lose and everything to gain, Iceland. They will be in a home and away playoff with
Croatia. Again, you have an expected winner in that particular case, but you never know. Iceland made it this far, right?
Yeah, Croatia's strong, but Iceland's made some serious strides. I mean, they've never gotten this far in the World Cup qualifying campaign, so I'm excited to see what they can pull out of this home and away tie with Croatia.
Right.
And
okay.
The next one is Greece and Romania. You have a team that's...
It's more of a toss-up.
Yeah, you have two teams with very different styles. Romania is more of an attacking team. They've discovered some flair again. Greece is very much committed to defending.
Yeah, I saw Greece at the last World Cup, and I think they made it pretty far, surprisingly.
Well, they got out in the group stage, but they weren't bad. They beat Nigeria.
Don't do that, man. Don't
2-1.
Are you going? Can we? No, just kidding. Go on.
Keita.
I remember that.
And the ball bouncing off Enyama's glove.
Hey, yo, trust me, we don't do this, man.
Yeah, no, I felt bad. I was rooting for Nigeria too.
Hey. Anyways,
and then Yakubu's miss the very next game.
Swap, he's not back on the show next week.
Okay.
There's no way he's back on the show next week.
But okay, I'm going to say a good thing about the Nigerian team. Enyama holding Argentina to 1 goal. One of the best goalkeeping performances I saw.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it on his behalf. I know he's listening, but I appreciate it on his behalf.
And
Portugal
and Sweden.
A big game.
So this is the context. Either Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Cristiano Ronaldo are not going to play in the World Cup. One of those two is not going to play in the World Cup.
It's a loss to the world, actually.
It is.
That these two teams have to face each other, but I guess on an international stage, they've both underachieved.
Oh, yeah. Portugal got drawn in with a tough Russian team. So, the Russians have really, really blossomed under Fabio Capello.
As a team. Right. So, a country like Russia, they do well because they play as a team. Portugal, for years, have not played as a team. Have not always played as a team. Okay, let me give them some credit.
Well, they weren't bad, but they're going to have to beat a tough team in Sweden. So
definitely,
it's going to be interesting.
That's the highlight of the playoff.
That's probably the best one.
Yes. And we have France and Ukraine to top us off.
The French, I don't know if they're going to need a handball again. Honestly, they didn't deserve to be at the 2010 World Cup, and obviously it showed.
Right. There was a lot of turmoil, and Anelka saying he doesn't want to play.
Evra, with the fitness coach.
Right.
Dominic.
And so it's interesting to see them back in this position and see them on the cusp of making another World Cup. And I like the French team. I think they have all the talent in the world. They just have to put the egos aside and come together as a team.
They have to gel. they have some guys that are underachieving on the national team, and those guys know who they are. Ukraine, well, they're trying to recreate their success from 2006 after missing out.
Right. But no more Shevchenko, right? I think Shevchenko is about done.
No more Shevchenko, and I think no more Timochuk either. So it's going to be difficult for them. It's going to get complicated.
Right. Thank you, Israel, for that. Also, shout out to Nigeria. They're going to face Ethiopia in a second leg World Cup qualifier soon. We're going to do a blitz portion of soccer this week, actually, in terms of the Champions League, and this is where Israel's challenge has come to the forefront of the show. So, Israel, you said you could do this in under a minute.
Okay, let's do this.
Do you still believe that?
Absolutely.
Okay, Gurveer is ready with that clock. So, Gurveer, count him down. Count him down.
Okay, so Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored 4 times as PSG demolishes Anderlecht 5-0. Bayern Munich 5-0 winners. AC Milan tying Barcelona 1-1. And next match days, November 5th and 6th. I've made my fantasy team. Go out and make yours today. Arsenal looking good. Ozil, Ramsey, solid midfield. And yeah, those are
Ozil's looking good. Ozil's looking good.
Ozil's good. I mean, like he's got more to offer. I think he's going to be even better.
Very nice. Okay, he killed that. That's what a real blitz looks like.
That was 35 seconds.
Yeah, I just call my portion of blitz, but because there's so much fun that happens within my section, I don't keep it under a minute. But yeah.
Time for your blitz, OT. Let's see what you can do.
Oh, we're at that stage already.
We're
okay,
at that stage.
Wow, you just put me on the spot. No.
35 seconds? Can you beat 35 seconds?
On the spot like that?
35 seconds?
Nah, I'm not trying to do 35 seconds because, as always, I have a lot.
So it's not who can do the shortest blitz, because then you could just say one word. It's who can get the closest to 1 minute.
Oh, wait. Some guy walked by with a Galatasaray sweater. Galatasaray beat Copenhagen 3-0, so...
Good to know.
Very nice. Okay. So we're going to switch gears to the actual blitz, the best portion of the show, the reason people tune in, the best thing to happen to sports at U of T. Who's going to count me in?
Yeah, so I'm ready. Are you done with the preamble?
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
All right, you ready? Okay, let's go.
Yes, sir. So this week, ESPN came out with their NBA player rankings, and surprisingly, Kobe Bryant was left out of the top 24 players in the league and named the 25th best player in the league. Kobe Bryant was brought this information by reporters, and he ended up saying anyone who thinks he's the 25th best player in the league should be drug tested. I'm of that same belief because I still believe Kobe's a top 10 player in the league, even at his old age and with injury. The NBA this week also approved a 2-2-1-1-1 NBA Finals format series, which is good because the whole 2-3-2 or whatever it is they were doing just didn't work out properly. And I like going back to the regular playoff format, which they use for every other round. So clearly I'm not going to beat 35 seconds or Israel, you win chocolate. Moving on. A new dating app for sports fans has actually come out, and I know Swap is especially excited about this one. I believe it's called Off the Field, something like that. Free Agent. It's actually called Free Agent. So
that's a good name.
Yeah, for all our listeners and for Gurveer and Israel and
Gurveer,
all our single hosts and guests.
Yes, I am.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're going to post your BBM pin on our Twitter and Facebook pages.
I think we should actually hold it to that. We never follow through on our promises. I think this promise we will.
Gurveer sounds like he really wants that.
Gurveer wants that BBM on it. All right.
So yeah, we're actually we'll get you on that app as well. We'll get you set up, and you'll be our resident tester of the Free Agent dating sports app or whatever it is.
We're going to have a lot of guests next week then.
Yeah, funny man. Gilbert Arenas this week came out and admitted that he may have the worst contract in sports. Cause he signed a $100 million contract, was it 08, 09?
I feel like Vernon Wells is up there somewhere.
Hey, there's people. There's a bunch of people that come to my book. Gilbert Arenas signed a max contract, and in less than a year decided to pull a gun on his teammate in the locker room, and he got kicked off the team, or he got amnestied, but they still have to pay him money. So basically this year, Gilbert Arenas is still making $20+ million from the Washington Wizards. Just take that in, $20+ million, Swap. Is that
crazy?
Yeah.
I'll be making that soon.
This weekend, El Clasico. I can't believe you didn't bring that up, Israel. So El Clasico is back, another segment.
You never asked.
For those who don't know what El Clasico is, the Spanish La Liga game between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And yeah, El Clasico, people. Watch that. And with that, I end the Blitz.
What was the time on that?
2:48:39.
Damn, I think we got worse from last week. Checking Twitter before we wrap up. Something we forgot to talk about. Canada's own Vasek Pospisil will be playing in the semifinals against the best player ever to play the game.
Nadal.
No.
Djokovic?
No.
Federer.
Roger Federer in his hometown of Basel, Switzerland. So that's a big.
Federer is not the best of all time.
Do you want to be fired? I'm joking, man, but he is. So that's so everybody watch that if you have Sportsnet 1, 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Hopefully Israel won't kill me before then. What else? I saw somewhere here. Andrew Bogut has just been signed to I'm just getting the details with the Golden State Warriors. 3-year, $43 million extension, guy. That's a big money contract for Andrew Bogut.
Andrew Bogut?
For Andrew Bogut. I'm telling you, man, that's a team to watch this year.
Yo, but let's hope he's healthy. I want him to be healthy, so let's hope he's healthy.
7.1 magnitude. That's a big earthquake. Hey, off the coast of Japan. They're not expecting any tsunamis. And shout out to @ZoyaTweets, who has received our first ever listener appreciation
tweet.
So for those of you listeners, let us know why you should be the next listener we appreciate, and you will be tweeted by us to our wonderful following of
14 people?
14? I don't know.
14 people.
14 people, so one more than last week. We are
hey, listen, that's 14 more potential dating app users that Gurveer might encounter.
So you do know like 3 of them are your family members.
Funny. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, I'm actually coming out with a basketball article next week, so look out for that.
Don't be surprised if the quality is subject to...
it might not be as great as my first one, which killed every possible...
Every Nigerian in Canada liked that article.
And every other Canadian liked the article.
His whole family liked the article. That's great.
Yeah, we got 37 people who liked it, so...
Okay, that's good.
That's pretty good.
Feeling ways, bro. Feeling ways.
Stop catching those feelings. Anything else, guys? Last words going into the weekend. Gurveer, we're always looking for... Actually, no, Israel, you're close to the mic. Go for it first.
Okay, so... yeah, just a quick mention. Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos 3 ended in a thriller. Cain Velasquez knocking out Dos Santos in the 5th round to become, once again, the UFC heavyweight champion. And, yeah.
Good to hear. Gurveer, final words, final thoughts. What are you doing this weekend?
Well, like I think I mentioned it off air. I just bought Batman Arkham Origins today. First day it came out, so I'm probably going to dive into that. The only video game I probably ever will play. I'm going to play that this weekend.
OT, how's the weekend looking?
Weekend's looking like more studying. I have a midterm on Monday, so I'm going to be here most of the weekend doing studying. But on the sports basis, Derrick Rose for MVP.
The voting has already begun. Anyone living north of Newmarket, you are probably seeing snow. I wish we could do some snow down here in Markham and Toronto. But the weather looks like it's going to warm up, so no skiing anytime soon. You have been listening to In the Core. Follow us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/InTheCore1, Twitter @InTheCore1. YouTube us as well. You can always watch all of our past episodes from episode 2 to episode, what is it, 7? Episode 7? 8?
7.
Were you 7 or 8?
7.
Right,
7.
2 guys saying 7, 1 guy saying 8. Gurveer,
7.
Call.
7.
Okay, episode 7. So we are 1 week behind the NFL, but check us out on YouTube, subscribe to that channel. Always show your love and support. We'll get Gurveer's BBM up there. You have been listening to In the Core, and you will see us next week. Bye, guys.
That car driving make you feel some type of way. That custom brightly make you feel some type of way. Deep we got me feeling some type of way. Is it cause my homies rich you feel some type of way? Some type of way. Make you feel some type of way. Her she wanna f me already know you feel some type of way. Mr. CEO is what my title say. Me and my homie Vigo, he feel some type of way. Okay, now let's be real, I know you feel some type of way. Okay, now let's be real, I know you feel some type of way.